Morning everyone. I am pleased to welcome you all to this final round of Intrafast Debating Championship 2022. The today's motion is the Ludovico technique is a fictional aversion that conditions a patient to experience severe nausea when committing or even thinking about violence. This house would allow violent criminals to choose to undergo the Ludovico technique in exchange for a significantly reduced sentence. I'm Najwa, the speaker and the timekeeper for this room. Each debater will have 7 minutes to deliver his or her speech. I would like to remind the members of the floor they may only raise point of information in the constructive speech and only after the first minute and before the last minute of speech. Also, please ensure that your internet connection is stable and your voice is audible. So, are there any inquiries before we start? You may ask the educators right now. I guess it is a no. With that, I'm going to call the Prime Minister to deliver her speech. Here.
Okay, hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I bid a very good afternoon to Madam Speaker. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, today I, as the Prime Minister, will start the debate by defining some of the keywords in the motion of the whole today, which is our motion. Today is about the Ludovico technique is a fictional version that conditions a patient to experience severe nausea when committing or even thinking about violence. This house will allow violent criminals to choose to undergo the Ludovico technique in exchange for a significantly reduced sentence. Alright, so with that, I'll repeat what is the Ludovico technique. So the Ludovico technique is a fictional version, yes, but the condition is it is a patient to experience severe nausea when committing or even thinking about violence. So they cannot do any thinking about violence, because then they will have severe nausea and all right, so next is significantly reduced sentence. So what is this significantly reduced sentence here means? It is referring to the sentence that they need to serve in prison, and also the grave of their sentence punishment, even such as death penalty. Alright, so, and the violent crime here including murder, rape, robbery, causing injuries, and so on. Alright, so right. Next, I will present to you our status quo for this motion today, which is the brain drain of our nation, and that we need to use every possible resources and capabilities without harming the people or so. All right. So, and next is the wait. I'm sorry. So, so the status quo before that I mentioned, which raise the needs for the discussion of our motion in this debate today. So our burden of proof is firstly, I as the Prime Minister will talk about the reduce of the numbers of prisoners that will serve in prison. And next, our second speaker will talk about will give two other arguments about the providing another chance for criminals to make a fresh start, and then also decreasing the crime rates in the long run. And also our third speaker will be rebutting all of the arguments given by the opposition sides, as well as giving summarize of the points given by us, the government sides. So our stances is we clearly support this motion because we allow them to choose. All right, we allow them to choose, and we did not force them to choose the Ludovico technique. So we repeat that we did not force them at all. All right, so by that, we as the government side believe that there are no suitable answers than implementing this motion today, and our end goal at the end of the day is we want to achieve to provide the better harmony world in this world, okay, and then to give chances to the prisoners for the prisoners to repent, and in the same time for those people around him, around the prisoners, will be guaranteed to be free from any harm. Right. So next, therefore, moving on to my first argument. Right, which is to reduce the numbers of prisoners that will be sent in prison. Right, so we apply. So how? So we apply the Ludovico technique. Right, so that's our mechanism. So the prisoners can think while back that they want to decide for the better. Right, so they don't want to be rot in prison for good. So for this with sentenced to life in prison, not mentioning who got sentenced to death in prison, so they can even avoid death when they want to choose the Ludovico technique, right? So and yes.
When you say that these criminals can escape from a death sentence, does it mean that it would show that the crime is not as severe as it should be?
No, it's not that we are disregard the severeness of the crime, but we are giving them the chance to repent and to make a new change of their life. Right? So everyone make mistakes, and everyone make mistakes. Wait. So everyone make mistakes, and we also we also make mistakes. But yes, we can say that we cannot just even though we could say that crimes could not be justified. Their action could not be justified with their intention whatsoever. But still, what about the people or those if they have the credibility of something else, like like they have the skills of something else that could benefit to the nation. So we cannot pass by that that skills. Okay, so that will be explained further by my second speaker. All right, so moving on to my explanation, and then so the prisoners will eventually choose this Ludovico technique. Why? Because they will surely have attachment with their own family, friends, and community. Because even before they became a criminal, they were once a normal human being. All right, so it's just because that life is so hard sometimes that people are pushed to a corner of committing a violent crimes or so to provide the needs of the necessity for their responsibilities that their loved one at home. All right, so for example, there are people that had to commit the robbery just to feed their 3-year-old child at home. We don't even know their circumstances, but we who didn't experience their situations just point fingers at them that they are criminals. So criminals should be treated as criminals and so on. So we have to go further in this situation. Okay, so that's why this Ludovico technique is very essential and is very good for us to implement it, and for the criminals to actually have a better life. And this is relating to our end goal to provide the better harmony world, where when they choose to have the Ludovico technique applied on them, so even if they went out from the prison, they can't do anything that will cause harm to others, and that is what meant by the harmony of the world, better harmony of the world. All right, so with that, I would like to propose this motion here.
Thank you, the Prime Minister, for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes 19 seconds. Now I would like to call upon the Leader of Opposition to deliver her speech. The floor is yours.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, starting my speech in 3, 2. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning. I bid to the Ms. Chairman, wise educators, accurate timekeeper, worthy opponents on the government side, and my loyal comrades on the opposition team, and to the members of the House. I welcome all to today's debate with the motion. This House would allow violent criminals to choose to undergo the Ludovico technique in exchange for a significantly reduced sentence. So as the first speaker from the opposition side, I will be doing two things. Firstly, I will rebut the case brought by the Prime Minister and present one argument from our side. My second speaker will be presenting his arguments to oppose this motion, and my third speaker will disconstruct the debate and whip all the government arguments into sheet, and also show you why we are correct in our stance. Our stance being, okay, so firstly, I would like to rebut the case brought by the Prime Minister. So she had said, okay, first the definition, I agree with the Ludovico definition because it is given in the motion. And then she also said about the significantly reduced sentence. This is referring to the original sentence this criminal should have had. However, she did not mention how much does this, how much of a reduction in the sentence. Is it by half? Is it just a portion? She didn't explain on how much. So the mechanism themselves, the government themselves does not understand, does not know how they would implement this Ludovico technique. So, and then the violent crimes, okay, we agree with the definition of violent crimes and criminals. And then, okay, so first things first, the points given by the Prime Minister is that they would like to reduce the number of prisoners in prisons. However, I see that there is not much elaboration on this point because she have elaborates more on her teammates, the Deputy Prime Minister points earlier than he should have been speaking. So she had said that why these criminals would choose to undergo to the Ludovico technique because she had mentioned that when we allow them to choose, when the government presenting two choices, either they would want to go to serve full sentence and another one to either Ludovico and reduced sentence, the most criminals would choose to undergo Ludovico technique. Why? Because I would like to quote her, because life is so hard that they don't have they have to commit violent crimes, which, while yes, there are some cases where the criminals themselves are victim of another violent crimes, this does not mean that all violent criminals are victims. So what happens in the case of the criminals is a psychopath? Should they be granted, should they undergo the Ludovico technique and also a reduced sentence? Because I personally don't want a psychopath just serve the reduced sentence and then go outside and just roam freely. Because again, their end goal is not, they want to have a harmony in the society, but just allowing this type of criminal, these violent criminals outside after a reduced sentence rather than serving their full sentence is somewhat would backfire, because you are letting them roam freely, and does that mean that they have are you actually promoting the harmony? Are you actually promoting the safety of the citizen? Okay, so I would like to go into our argument. So we on the opposition side believe that, no thank you. We on the opposition side believe that rather than implementing Ludovico technique, we would eliminate the choice. We would eliminate the option to choose Ludovico technique by not allowing Ludovico technique itself. Because one, this goes into my first point, because Ludovico technique is abusive. We have to understand that Ludovico technique is a conditioning where this patient would undergo would have severe nausea whenever they even think or commit a violent crime. So a violent crime. So when conditioning by itself is a neutral thing. You can have a conditioning for a betterment, for good, or conditioning for bad. And here, Ludovico technique is clearly, you are clearly abusing the criminals. You are abusing the criminals, because this type of conditioning where you condition them to have severe nausea, it's just the same as abusing, just the same of domestic abuse or just child abuse, all type of abuse. So I would like to ask the government, do you want to be an abuser in the eyes of the citizen, where these violent criminals can choose whether they want to be abused or just serve their sentence? Okay, so another type is because Ludovico technique is abusive, it will also the effect of Ludovico technique is lifelong, because all type of conditioning is lifelong, and this they would have lifelong consequences where they would even they would have severe nausea whenever they think of violent crimes all throughout their life. So what does this mean is that the government somehow would like to objectify or dehumanize these criminals by making them act in a sort of way that is maybe beneficial to the government, in which if they want to be violent, they would undergo severe nausea, which just plain abusive in our point of view. So again, just that if the government would like to implement the choice of undergoing Ludovico technique, they have to justify, does this criminal deserve to undergo severe nausea, this severe nausea whenever they are released. Okay, so again, I would like to reaffirm our stance is that we, the opposition side, would like this motion to fall because the implementation of Ludovico technique, it would undermine the punishment of a crime, and thus it would dehumanize it would dehumanize the criminals. With that, I end my speech. Thank you.
Thank you to the leader of opposition for the speech. The speaker spoke for 6 minutes 57 seconds. Now I would like to call upon the government whip. No, not government whip. Deputy Prime Minister to deliver his speech. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Connection and audio check. Am I audible without any stuttering? I haven't started yet. Thank you. Please. So I will be starting my speech in. Is the timer actually going? Or please give it.
It's okay. I will time it.
Okay.
At my phone.
Alright. Okay. So I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay. I believe that there has been severe misconception and assumption and also contradictory statement from the government side. So the first part that I will be doing today is to rebut all the argument provided and also to push forward my own point. So before that, a very good morning and good afternoon, and may peace be upon everyone that is present in this hall today. So the first concern that was raised by the government side is how much the sentence will be decreased, and they assume that we don't have a strategy for this. We did not lay it out because the types of violent crimes are different from one another. So we have already laid down the framework for this, where it depends on how much time does it take for that particular person. Let's say the violent crime was caused by their misconception of life, or they're taking another person's life lightly. So we will shorten their prison sentence, as much as it takes for our prison side, for our prison guards to re-educate them about the common sense that is happening in the actual world. And then the second one is you guys are trying to prevent the prisoner from reducing the sentences. In other words, you are supporting for them. You are trying to make us lose money by paying for the utilities bill, whatever, the water bill, the food and drinks. You want to continuously pay for them while they have the chance to roam out and publish and fend for themselves with the insurance, where maybe you can say that they fend for themselves and they have the chance to commit the violent crime. We have the insurance of Ludovico technique. There, it's answered the question. And then you say that most people will choose the Ludovico technique, and that you said that psychopath will run free. I think it is the first sentence in the motion itself. Psychopath is not free. They are not free at all. You contradict with your further point downwards, but they are not free. They are controlled by this particular Ludovico technique. Every time they try to commit crimes, they will feel severe nausea. Then continuous punishment is actually a good form of teaching, like how the traditional Malay parent used to teach their child. That is the prime example. They are not free, and this actually gives them two chances. The psychopath can repent, can fix themselves, can go to the psychiatry and so on, go to for counseling session. While if, let's say, every effort that they do fail them and they still wanted to commit the crime, then they will experience severe nausea, the worst form of punishment. And then you say that abusing the criminal by continuously making them experience severe nausea? No, we did not continuously making them forcefully. We did not forcefully make them. The first thing is we give them the option to choose whether they wanted to have severe nausea or not. And the second one, it is whenever they wanted to commit a crime. Yes, they will experience severe nausea. However, severe nausea itself will be upon themselves instead of us capturing that person. Let's say that person committed a crime without severe nausea. Sorry, thank you. I would like to proceed.
Your eye, please.
Severe nausea. I would like to proceed, please. Thank you. So yes, we did not abuse them. We give them the chance to choose. And this abusive thing is contradictory with your own statement. You don't even want to give them freedom. You don't even want to give them the chance to repent upon themselves. And how do you think it is abusive for us to give them the chance while giving the insurance for the community themselves? I hope that my argument is clear. So now I will proceed the benefit of actually making them experience Ludovico technique. As per what my Prime Minister said, as per what I said continuously just now, we are giving them another chance to commit to their life. How? Because if we allow them to return to the society with the insurance that they will not cause any harm, they have the chance to one. If they are a good person in the beginning, a successful person in the beginning, they can go back to their post as a CEO, as a business manager, and so on, and continue to their work without harming their staff, without harming their companions, and so on. And this will further provide the growth for us ourselves, the government, the leading cabinet of the country. And then, to ensure that they did not commit the crime, or at the very least, to ensure that they did not commit the crime even after experiencing severe nausea, we can assign a watcher to them. The watcher does not have to be someone new or pay extra money for them. We just have to push one of the prison guard to that person because we have more space in the prison. Less prison guard needs to work on that particular space at a time. All right, so is it assumption? No, it has been proven that some prisoner that has been committing violent crime. I will take Ryan Blair from United States of America as an example. He has been a gang member since he was 13 years old, and he has been arrested numerously for ever since he was 13 until 16. But after that, he turned on a new leaf. At the age of 21, he started a business called 24/7 Tech, and now he has been the CEO of Vice Sales, the video company from the 24/7 Tech, and he has been awarded with 2010 DSN Global Turnaround Award, where he turned 6 million. Sorry, I would like to proceed again. The 6 million debt into 120 million profit. That's how we can prove that although they are from a violent crime, they committed violent crime in the past, then they have the chance. This is given that they have a short sentence, so they still have the early stage of their life to rearrange their life purposes. And then to commit this, to implement this, is actually a gamble if we did not apply the Ludovico technique. Because if we shorten the sentence without any insurance to the society, then there is higher chance for them to commit the crime again. Because statistic has shown that 68% of prisoners was arrested 3 years after their release, and 83% of the prisoners are arrested again with the same offense 9 years after the release. That's why we will love to provide them the chance, the insurance to the community, although the statistic is not favorable. And the second one is we would like to avoid vengeance and continuous cycle of hate to happen. Because let's say, for instance, the violent crime continuously arrested, and so on. And then they were released by Ludovico technique. And then as a result, the community will be flooded with person who will experience severe nausea whenever they try to commit crime or even think about violent crime. Hence, the thought of looking at criminals like how we see the movie right now, like action movie, we see like the main character kill the enemy and so on. We see like, oh, it is violent, it is cool and awesome. But when we release this Ludovico technique to the community, the prisoner are released to the community, it will spread, like the community will perceive violence something disgusting. Like imagine every time you try to commit violence and so on, you see someone vomiting, you see someone falling down, you're saying like what kind of brainly damaged people will voluntarily try to bring severe nausea upon themselves. And yeah, only a masochist will love this. So with that, I conclude my point. Thank you.
Thank you to the Deputy Prime Minister. We will wait for a minute so that the timer will come up again. Can we restart it to test the bell? Okay, so the speaker spoke for 6 minutes 58 seconds. We shall now hear the speech from Deputy Leader of Opposition. Here.
Mic check. Can you hear me?
Crystal.
Okay. Right. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a bit of good evening to the member of the opposition and member of the government and member of the floor. On today's motion, I, as the deputy leader of the opposition, would like to talk about this house will allow violent criminal to choose to undergo in the Ludovico technique in exchange for significantly reduced sentences. First of all, I would like to do a rebuttal from the second speaker and also proceed with my point. So, when the second speaker mentioned about by Ludovico and reducing sentences to the convict, it will give another chance to the victim itself to contribute to society. When you mention about that, let me reassure that without Ludovico also can reduce uh, uh, time or judgment of penalty to the convict itself by using the marking system in the prison itself. So even though you said that with Ludovico reducing the sentence, but without it also reducing sentences and can give the prisoner a chance to live and also to contribute to society. And also there are other technique. There are other option that given to a prisoner, such as parole or house arrest. Those one of the option was given the prisoner that, such as given a chance for the prisoner to serve to the community. All right. Moving on to my second point, which is instead of using the Ludovico technique, we can mention that no, sorry. Instead of applying the Ludovico technique in exchange to significantly reduce the sorry. Instead of reducing the sentence, we would like to use the benefit of the prison itself, which means that prisoner can isolate the revenge crime among the prisoner. Right? Uh, um, as you all know, most of our country build up in the community which have criminals such as gangster and also uh, rape, sorry, rape and psychopath that kill each other. Um, those are still roaming, even though it's still roaming, but the benefit of prison itself, uh, without implying Ludovico can show us what prison police can show the ability to isolate the killers among the society. Therefore, without undergoing the reduced sentence and also without undergoing the Ludovico itself, it can serve the right of the prisoner, which can affect the prisoner in a lifetime, which I'm applying to the Ludovico technique itself, and also can save our society from this killer and the prisoner that can cause ruckus among the society. Therefore, the function of the prisoner that isolate revenge crime among the convict, which they improve to help the society building up itself without not without any crime, with lesser crime and also lesser punishment to the prisoner. Moving on to the third person, which is prison as a function to a rehab center. Uh, as you all know, um, pre, well, undermining. If we try to go that criminal choose under Ludovico technique in exchange of significantly reduced sentence, we are trying whether that rather than put the prisoner into the cases which undergo the Ludovico itself, we try to put a prisoner to transition themselves into the good behavior, which can the prisoner can transition from bad into the good functioning of member of society. Therefore, just like the government said, it also just like the government said that going through under Ludovico can serve a good chance to the prisoner itself. But without Ludovico also proved to give a chance to be free. But before they are freed into the society, they must undergoing the uh, transitional process, which is the rehabilitation inside the prison itself. Therefore, without undergoing into the haircut or into the haircut of Ludovico that can cause lifetime to the prisoner. Therefore, I as the opposition I of as the opposition side wouldn't choose, rather would like to choose, we will not choose Ludovico technique in exchange for a significantly reduced sentence. I think that's all from the deputy leader opposition. Thank you.
Thank you to the Deputy Leader of Opposition. The speaker spoke for 6 minutes 16 seconds. We shall now hear the speech from the Deputy Leader, from the Government Whip. The floor is yours.
With the name of Allah, the owner of this earth, am I audible? And is my connection stable? It has been raining cats and dogs over here, so yeah. I will start my speech in, inshallah, 3, 2, 1. Okay, as an government whip, I would like to rebut all the points that was provided by the opposition side and also give the worst case and best case scenario if this motion were to pass. Okay, the first one was mentioned by the deputy. The argument that was presented by the opposition leader, I believe, has been rebutted by myself in the prior stage. So now I will be rebutting the argument provided by deputy opposition leader. So without Ludovico technique, he said that we can use marking system instead. And as I said, this is regarding the insurance. If we use whether it is marking system or house arrest, that was already being implemented. This kind of thing, that's the case that we are trying to push forward here is violent crimes. Violent crimes is a thing where the victim either end up in the ICU or dead. And they were in the lightest case, they will go out with a skull or something. Hence, if we use marking system or house arrest, we have no way to ensure that the victim is safe. We do have the way to arrest them after they commit the crime. In contrast with the Ludovico technique, the moment they decided to harm someone, they will already fall down. Hence, there will be no victim, and we can also implement tracking system. As I said before, tracking system through making a prison guard, the prison guard watch that person. So we will have no victim, and we can arrest that particular person. Okay, proceed with your PI.
So you add.
Okay, it's okay. Go. I will leave this to my leader of opposition, please.
Okay, so you said that by implementing Ludovico, by letting them to choose Ludovico, that you would reduce the number of victims. But how sure are you that these criminals would be able to overcome the nausea? There is no proven efficiency.
It was written over there, severe nausea. Can anyone even survive severe nausea? In the worst case, you will hit the road or you fall down directly, like how you experience migraine and so on. So in the medical term, sure, one person or another will have a higher tolerance than the other. But this case, we can already monitor it the moment we apply Ludovico technique towards them. Hence, we're removing the possibility. And in the first place, they choose to do it. So they will undergo whatever condition that we provide to them. And then I will proceed to the counter argument. Second one, use prison time to rehabilitate. This instead it will help them cure themselves of their issues and so on. However, this also rid them of the chance to restart their life over, to turn on a new leaf. That's why we wanted to shorten their time, because time is what the idiom said. However, time is life itself. The moment you go out of prison, if you are already old, For example, you are 30 years old. If you attend SekreFast previous weeks, you can understand that from the side of employee, they will never be able to take employees who are already old. That's why we wanted to shorten the time with the condition that they abide by the rules. Yes?
Okay, so you mentioned about how rehabilitation is worse than your case because it lessens the time. But then again, are you proposing that you want to allow criminals who are not guaranteed repentative of their actions to walk around free by having by giving them the option to choose Ludovico itself? Please justify that to the members of the floor.
Yes, I said as well. Ludovico is an insurance. It is something that ensures that there will be no victim, and it was consented by the convict themselves. So hence, I can only see, I fail to see the lacking point in this particular situation, because it is a win-win situation. The criminal get the time of their life, they get to choose their freedom, and then there will be no victim. In case of the potential victim will also be removed the moment that guy go into nausea, and also we can arrest that guy again. It's not as much financially burdened as we continuously keep them in our prison for life, for example. And then the next point that will be rebutted is without reducing sentence. Yeah, this is redundant with my previous point. And then I believe the deputy opposition leader also mentioned how the convict will cause a curse on themselves in the prison. Is that right? If I'm not wrong, then didn't your side just mention how abusive it is to apply Ludovico technique? And then you also contradictory to that, you say that the convict should cause a curse on themselves and kill each other. It is, I believe that is much more inhuman because you are giving them, you don't even give them the chance to repent or rehabilitate about themselves. And then, yep, this is also a redundant point where you wanted to use the prison to rehab from bad to good. Yes, it is already being done right now. But what we can see, someone get out of prison at the age of 50, at the age of 60. What can they do? They can only work hard labor. And at that moment of life, when you are 50, 60 years old, what can you even do in the construction site? You can leave a break for a day or two, and then the next day you're going to the hospital. And let's say this guy was released from the prison as an ex-convict, and then ex-convict will have the same the same freedom as a normal citizen. Hence, this particular person will go to the go.
Okay, so you mentioned about how it would allow these criminals to turn over a new leaf and repentance, and also about something about giving them a chance. So are you implying that Ludovico technique eliminates the records of crimes itself? Because your points just now are implying that Ludovico technique not only reduces their sentence but also eradicating the criminal charges that they previously have in the first place.
Hello, Whip. You are frozen right now. Are you okay?
Okay, am I audible? Did you hear my POS just now?
I hear you. I meant Fader. She seems frozen.
Okay, for now, please stop the timer.
Keluar ke?
Tak bergerak. Maybe I think he started freezing at masa timer at 1 minute. I think it is fair.
Yep.
Fair to reverse the timer to 1 minute. Fader, are you there? Yeah, there seems to be feedback from his mic, but I can't hear anything or see anything.
Is he okay? Can someone check him? Government, check him. Is he okay?
I'm sorry, please wait a minute.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yep.
Okay, may I proceed here without turning on my camera? Because I'm using my phone right now.
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Thank you for the chance. Sorry, there was a sudden downpour affecting my connection. Okay, so I would like to continue my speech in 3, 2, 1. I believe that I left off where the POI, right, where the opposition mentioned how we are removing the crime records. No, we did not remove the crime record. They have watcher around them. We know what they used to do, but we can still utilize their skill in the meanwhile. And then, yeah, I think that is pretty much the counter argument for that particular point. And as I repetitively mentioned, it is an insurance. So by applying Ludovico technique, by giving the prisoners option to apply Ludovico technique, we can promote better harmony towards our society. Because the first one, we can allow them to contribute while in the same time contribute to the society, go back to their working post, or maybe if they are young, they can have the chance to restart their career from scratch and so on. However, in the same time, because they are an ex-convict of a violent crime, we also give them an insurance where they will not harm any other person, and this in turn will also contribute to the better harmony of our society in the long run, inshallah. Assalamualaikum. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you to the government whip for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes. Now I would like to call upon the opposition whip to deliver her speech. The floor is yours.
Okay, first of all, I would like to do an audio and video check. Am I audible and can you see me clearly?
Yes to all. Yes.
All right, okay. Wait. And I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon/evening I did to all members of the floor. So we gather here for the last motion for this competition, which is this house would allow violent criminals to choose to undergo the Ludovico technique in exchange for a significantly reduced sentence. And we as side opposition clearly and without a doubt not only oppose, but we do not want Ludovico to be there at all. We want the criminals to serve their sentence accordingly. Why? Because we believe that it will actually undermine the punishment of the crime and also undermines the purposes of prison, which have been clearly stated by my team points. And my job here to solidify the arguments from my side and also to whip the government side to shape, because clearly we can see opposition has the better argument, better judgment, and also that is why opposition should win for today's motion. Okay, first of all, I would like to start with the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister, as pointed out by my leader of opposition, she did not give us a clear framework or a clear mechanism, a clear characterization what is actually meant by significantly reduced sentence. Not only there is lacking of characterization there, but what is the time frame? What is the percentage? How much do you want to reduce? How significant it is do you want to reduce? Because this is important. Because you know how different degrees there are in violent crimes. So if you cannot even provide us with a clear characterization for this debate, then how as you the government, who you are the one who should have been bringing us the burden of proof, why this motion should why you should win, we both should have an end goal to the debate itself. You know, it clearly, you have clearly make this debate derail in the first place. Okay, moving on to your points. Okay, your points you mentioned about in order to you give them the option to choose in order to reduce the numbers of prison, because they are deciding for their better. But I would like to ask, I would like to raise this big red line question. What is actually meant by deciding for the betterment of the criminals or the betterment for the citizens? Because you have to remember, these are violent crimes, violent people, crimes that are so violent that it is why they are charged with sentences with severe sentences than the regular crimes itself. So why is the government want to give these people the option of reduction? In itself, there is no clear justification from the prime minister itself, and also the deputy, and also from the whip itself. There is no clear justification. If you say that if your only argument is that it would induce severe nausea, and you said people cannot survive severe nausea, well, newsflash for us opposition, we are clearly very well aware of the situation. You know that you can beat severe nausea through medicine, through taking pills. And if the criminals who did that and successfully bypassing the side effects, the effects of the Ludovico technique itself, then what is the government going to do? They're going to arrest them again, and then they're going to give the options again, so that that also provides an endless. And you said you want to save money, right? You want to save money. So how is it saving money by allowing violent criminals to have the option to perform Ludovico, to undergo Ludovico, and then reduce their sentences? They go out and then they do it all over again. What is the justification? There is no clear justification. But as you can see here, my side, however, provided clear arguments, because we believe that prison should be a rehab center, and that prison should be. And prison is enforced as a rehab center because it has access to libraries, activities, and so on and so forth. And then it is a transition back to the society as an improved member. They highlight here as an improved member. So that is why we want them to serve their sentences, because we want to reach the end goal. We want them to become better members, and also we want to keep the citizens safe, because that is the goal of prison in itself. Prison, four main purposes of prison is retribution, incapacitation, and deterrence, and also rehabilitation. If the side government cannot provide us with these four crucial things, then how on earth are you going to keep these citizens safe? Is there any POI from side opposition? Is there any POIs from my opposing team? Any POIs from government?
So earlier in your argument, you say that the criminal of violent crimes are someone unrepentable and unseverable or something like that. However, in the later part, you say that you wanted to finish their prison sentence in order to rehabilitate. So I believe that this contradicts with my particular point that was appointed, where we are given chances.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned about how my points are contradicting, but Mister, you failed to give us clear assurance by giving Ludovico technique itself. It is an form of assurance, because we have to revert back to the motion itself at the top part, which is a fictional version, which means it's something that is not here yet. So when you say you have statistics and everything, there is an absence of assurance, because it is still not inputted. It's still something that you haven't prepared yet. So not only this is not only is a fictional version, but then again, you do not provide us with a mechanism. How do you want to clearly make Ludovico technique works for everyone? If you just want to make the continuously feeling nauseous, then that's not the point. That's not the point of the punishment itself. They can actually find loopholes, but by making them going through their sentences, serving their sentences, it's better. It's a better way for them to become a better member for the society. And also, we believe we opposition side have clearly met the end goal, which is keeping the citizens safe, and then providing them another way to turn it only. And then for your record, just because they have reduced sentence, that doesn't mean that they will become a better person. There is no guarantee to that. And also, we also will mention not only that reducing sentence. Okay, sorry, I believe my time is up. Thank you. I rest my case.
Thank you to the opposition whip for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Now both the government and opposition are being given 1 minute to prepare their reply speech. We will wait for the timer to go up. And your time start now.
Can we restart the... Fira, you are not muted. Okay. Can we restart the timer? I'm not ready
Okay.
yet. I'm sorry. Is this the 1 minute to?
Yeah, the 1 minute.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, your time is up. I call upon the speaker from the opposition side to deliver their request speech here.
Okay, mic check. Am I audible? Okay, thank you. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum and we meet again. I am Laila, the leader of opposition, and I will be delivering the reply speech from opposition side. Today's debate is on the motion this house would allow violent crimes to choose to undergo the Ludovico technique in exchange for a significantly reduced sentence. And as the opposition side, we firmly believe that this motion should fall. So firstly, I would like to state the objective of this debate. So in this debate, both the government and the opposition side would like to have a safer society. We would like to reduce the crime rates and hence make the citizens more safe and safer to them. So, but our way of achieving the objective is different. So on the opposition side, we would not allow we believe that this motion should fall because rather than allowing the Ludovico technique itself, rather than allowing this even the implementation of Ludovico itself, we believe that these violent criminals should serve their full sentence. Okay, so we have given you points in which that we believe that this Ludovico technique is abusive. It dehumanizes the criminals because even if you are giving the criminals the option to choose whether they want to serve their full sentence or serve or undergo the Ludovico technique and hence significant reduced sentence, it doesn't change the concept of Ludovico technique itself. It is an abusive technique in which the patient, or in this case, the violent criminals who choose to undergo it, would have a lifelong cases where they would undergo severe nausea whenever they think of violent thoughts. So, and this also relates to the definition of abuse itself. So it is basically just abuse. So for the government to show that they would like to implement this Ludovico technique even as an option, it would just show that the government would like to be abusive to these criminals, which also connects to our stance. It would dehumanize the criminals. Why would you as a government would like to abuse them? Do them are just objects in your eyes? Okay, so and then we also said our second opinion point is that we is that this technique would isolate revenge crime. So if so I'm sorry, because this Ludovico technique is a fictional aversion, so it is not proven yet whether it would work. And the government side have said that this Ludovico technique is just an insurance. So it's just an insurance. Hence, it would these criminals, the violent criminals who undergo Ludovico, would find loopholes on how to not have this severe nausea. And then we also say our third point is that we have our current prison institution and we use it as a rehabilitation center. So when these criminals undergo their they would serve their full sentence, they would be rehabilitated back, they would be transitioned back into the society. Hence, it would give them time to repent. They would give time to actually become a better member of the society. So with that, I would like to reaffirm again that we on the opposition side believe that the motion this House would allow violent crimes to choose to undergo the Ludovico technique in exchange for a significantly reduced sentence should fall, because this motion itself would eliminate this motion itself would undermine the punishment of a crime and dehumanize the criminal. With that, I end my speech. Thank you.
Now, with that, let's welcome the speaker from the government side to give their reply speech and to conclude.
Hello, am I audible?
Yep, you are.
Right. So I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, ladies and gentlemen. In my reply speech today, I will tell you why the government side should win this debate. Okay, first of all, we provide to you the very specific way of how the Ludovico technique applies, all right? And then we also have shown to you that how the Ludovico technique actually is very good to be implemented, and the after effects of the Ludovico technique as well. So as to relating to our end goal that have mentioned by the opposition side, that we all of us in this hall want to provide the better harmony work for the people. All right, so so we have already stated that the Ludovico technique will provide the chance for the criminal. We state to you that it will decrease the criminal rate in the long run, and also we even provide to you the explanation of how the Ludovico technique will increase the state of the economy also. So next. That's and we have already explained as clear as water, but I don't know why the opposition side still the third speaker of the opposition side want to push that we didn't give any clear explanation or whatsoever. All right, so the opposition side has been going around this point, which okay, so from the first opposition side they say that psychopaths roam freely, but we have already catered that problem with the Ludovico's technique as to when they mentioned that the psychopaths roam freely, they don't really it explains that they don't really understand at that point the Ludovico technique truly. And then the second speaker of the opposition side also mentioned that the we don't need to use the Ludovico technique because we already have other type of ways to make them repent, like the rehabilitation center, house arrest, marking system. But all of them, even though we already but my second speaker of the government side already catered that, or the argue that they will take too much problem, because why we push this matters so much, because our status quo today is about brain drain of our nation, that we need to use every possible resources and capabilities without harming the people also. That's why we want to shorten the time in the prison, that we can use their skills and all that to repay back in our nation and all that. So that's why it matters, because it related in our status quo today, but they didn't cater the problem relating to the status quo. And aside from that, the ways that they mentioned, the house arrest and marking system, it's already been going around. Like they have already used them, but the cycle is still the same. Like the status quo hasn't been resolved at all. The criminals are still there are also the criminals that collect points in the marking system, and then they can reduce their sentence, and then they go out early. But then they commit another crime, and a similar crime, or even graver crime, and it's still the same. So it didn't give a guarantee. But when we implement the Ludovico technique, it gives a guarantee of when they cannot commit of such acts at all, and because they will have the civil inertia and all of that. And the opposition side also said that it's just we are tormenting them to have civil inertia. No, we didn't, because we say that our stances is we give them the choice. We give them they are choosing. So when we choose something, we have already taken the measurement of countermeasure of the consequences of our action. So the criminals wouldn't blame or they already know what they will be doing, and they even they know the consequences, so it wouldn't be a problem. So next is yeah. All right, so our pleasures is about I don't know, wait, it will be a disaster because if the opposition side if we not implement this motion today, what will happen if we implement the opposition side's points today? What will happen to our world? Like, it will be a disaster, because we from the government side to try to prevent the worst case scenario, which is the harmful of other people when the prisoners are getting out of the prison, right? So this Ludovico technique will give the guarantee. All right, so at the end of the day, we from the government side succeed in proving to you, the members of the hall, of the realistic mechanism on achieving our end goal that I have stated in my speech before, that to provide better harmony world and also to give chances to repent for the prisoners to repent, and in the same time, those people around the people in the community will be guaranteed to be safe and all that. All right, so that I've stated. Okay, so that's why we as the government side should win this debate today, and with that I continue to propose this motion. Thank you.
Thank you for the reply. That is all for this round debate session. On behalf of the House, I thank the educators for their assistance. I congratulate all the debaters on their performance, which is today is the final performance. You now can go for a short break, drink some water or go to the toilet. But please make it short, as there will be some brief feedbacks from the educators, and then we will see at the end ceremony.